Welcome to the Daily Record Spin. I'm your host, Jimmy Clements, and I'm joined today, as always, by the co-host of the show, my brother, Danny Oki. Danny, how you doing today, man?
I am doing pretty good. It's a snowy day over here in Indianapolis. So
Okay.
we've had the most bitter cold week of my life. And for those who don't know, my job is very on the go, out and about, and it's been brutal getting the motivation to get up and go to work. So
Oh, I'm so sorry.
doing good, but too cold, just too cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Opposite problem here. It is 80 degrees. The city is still on fire. And yeah, it's a very interesting winter. We haven't had rain in 300 days. So,
Oh my God.
yeah.
I just can't believe
Fun
it's still
stuff.
on fire.
Yeah. Well, a huge fire broke out yesterday in Santa Clarita. It started
Insane.
at like 50 acres, and by the end of the day, it was over 8,000 acres. So,
Oh my God.
yeah.
That's insane.
Luckily, they've managed to contain it fairly quickly. Our friends almost had to evacuate. They were supposed to go to Disney yesterday, and they got all the way there, and then we're getting evacuation orders, so they ended up
Oh
having to go
God.
home. Just rough.
That's
But
terrible.
so far, they've been okay. Yeah, for those who don't know, I mean, it's been a really, really rough time in LA. Like everything you've heard on the news, probably underselling it, to be honest. Like it's really been really bad. Entire neighborhoods are just wiped off the planet, and yeah, it's going to take many, many years for the city to recover. So it's kind of rough.
Yeah, that's really terrible. I've been following very diligently with that news. I mean, interspersed with other other news this week, but
Oh boy.
we don't have to get into that today. But
Yeah.
no, it's been a while since we've hopped on here. I think last time we were here was before Christmas, so
Yeah.
we've had quite a bit of a break. And I don't know. I'm just excited to get back into this, and obviously we've made some changes. I don't know if you want to talk about any of the changes we're making in 2025.
Yeah, so if you're watching on Spotify right now, you should be seeing this as a video option. We're also going to be on YouTube now, so please like and subscribe there. That's going to help us grow a lot. We just figured adding video to the podcast was the best way to encourage growth in the modern podcast climate where kind of everything's moving this way. So, it'll be baby steps as we start out and try to make this as good as it can be. And we also have a new theme that I worked on, so that's cool. And our friend Maria, who did the original cover art for us, got us this updated cover art too. Hopefully, just to kind of help us stand out, make the brand pop a little bit.
Fresh new look.
Yeah, absolutely. So the important thing for you guys is that we love doing this. We're really excited about it, and we want to make it even bigger. So, we're trying to make all the steps necessary to get to an even wider audience and to make the show even more enjoyable for you guys.
Definitely. Awesome.
All right. So let's recap a little bit of music stuff from the last month or so. I got to be honest, I've taken a bit of a break from music just because I'm also a big film nerd, and I've been really focused on watching all the movies for the Oscars, which nominations just came out this morning. So we can talk about that with what's sparking joy at the end.
I saw that.
So I haven't listened a whole lot, but I know we've had a couple things happen. So I don't know if you had any things you wanted to share.
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't been much new music, obviously. This is always the slowest time of year. But we had some monumental chart things happening. I know Mariah Carey, I think All I Want for Christmas Is You is now officially her longest #1 charting song in her discography, I believe. So that's exciting. And then we also had Die With a Smile, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars finally reach #1. I think after 16 weeks on the charts, it finally went to #1. So that was a really weird kind of moment that doesn't happen very often. But in terms of what I've been listening to, I've actually taken the break to kind of go back and listen to some stuff that's been on my radar forever. And, because of the nature of the music industry, things come out and that takes priority. So I don't always have time to go back to things that I missed. So I took some time this January to go back several years to look at some projects that I never got to. So one of those was Imogen Heap's debut album, Speak for Yourself, which is just fantastic, just insane electronic pop music. She really was a trailblazer, and you don't really realize it until you listen to the music, but I could hear so many different influences Namely, obviously Ariana Grande is a huge Imogen Heap fan. She covers one of the songs on that album. Um, and then I heard a lot of Caroline Polachek in that music. And one of the weirdest ones, maybe that is very niche, is I heard a lot of Pentatonics in
Huh.
that music. I think that they're also huge fans, and they had a original record, like all original music that they released in 2015, I want to say, maybe 2016. And a lot of the stuff on that sounds like this Imogen Heap stuff. So it was cool to see how far her influence goes across pop music. Cannot recommend that enough. It was fantastic. Another album that I got into was Damien Rice's O. He is a singer-songwriter. If you've ever seen the movie once or seen the Broadway show once, the music is very similar to that. It's super stripped back acoustic singer-songwriter stuff. And that was I levitated out of my body. Like some of the most beautiful, gorgeous melodies. His voice is very haunting. Another album I can't recommend enough. And then lastly, I got to dive into Currents by Tame Impala, who is someone that I've never listened to before, but obviously know Kevin Parker's influence a lot, namely with the new Dua Lipa record that came out last year. So wanted to dive into that. Not totally my thing. It's a little too ambient, a little too atmospheric, vibey, not super melody forward, which if you've been listening for a while, you know that's my jam, is melody forward. But I do think the sounds he creates on that record are super, super cool. So it was an interesting listen, although not my favorite. So that's kind of what I got into. One of the ones I'm trying to get into next is some Amy Winehouse, Back to Black.
Ooh, okay.
I've never heard that album before. And
I've never listened to it all the way through. Yeah, just
I
the
know.
singles.
So I need to try that out. That's my next assignment for myself. So yeah, that's what I've been doing over the break.
Fantastic. I also know that the Imogen Heap thing was prompted by you seeing some Broadway shows.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit. I haven't made it out to New York in several years, really since before COVID. So I'm excited to hear about some of this.
Yeah. So I got to see a lot of theater in this past month. It was amazing. So we haven't talked a whole lot about theater on this podcast, but that's definitely our upbringing. That's how we got into music, was musical theater. So I got to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which is not a musical, it's a play, but there is original music in it by Imogen Heap, which is what made me want to dive into it, because I was just so entranced by the score of that play. It was really haunting, and I just my jaw was on the floor the entire time because I just found it so interesting. And then I also got to see, I got to go out to New York. That was in Chicago that I saw that. And then me and my husband got to go out to New York, and we saw The Great Gatsby musical, Gypsy with Audra McDonald, and Death Becomes Her, which is a new musical with Megan Hilty. So those were all fantastic. Great Gatsby was low-key our favorite, which we heard a lot of mixed reviews about Gatsby, but we absolutely loved it. I'm not really sure what the reviews were talking about. Music was incredible, and we got to see Jeremy Jordan and even Noblezada. And if you're a theater person, you know who those people are. They're fantastic. Gypsy was not my favorite show, but Audra absolutely crushed it in that role. She was genuinely moved me a lot. And then Death Becomes Her was hilarious. One of the funniest shows I've ever seen. Probably one of the funniest since I saw Book of Mormon for the first time. It's like that and Something Rotten are the only ones that have come close to making me laugh as hard. So
that's amazing.
It was great. Really awesome. And then just last week we got to see Moulin Rouge in Indy. So yeah.
Great.
So we've had a lot of theater recently. It's been great.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I really haven't gotten to much. We've been trying to win the Wicked is currently in town, and it is here for like one more week, and Sarah enters the lottery like every day because tickets are like over $200 for the cheapest ticket.
Oh, come on.
I think because the movie just came out, so that it's extremely popular.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can get to that. Yeah, I would love to. I haven't seen the stage production since I was like 13 probably.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be great to go, but I'm also not really getting my hopes up just because it seems unlikely. But
yeah, I get it.
It is what it is. Everything's just too expensive these days. It's crazy.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's
concert
terrible.
tickets are nuts. Musicals
Yep.
are worse. So,
Well,
yeah, I really haven't listened to a whole lot of music. I've been still playing a lot of my favorites from last year.
mhm.
I just listened to the Rachel Chinariri album again yesterday. Love it. Jacob Godby told us to listen to the Rosie album. I haven't done that yet.
Oh, I haven't either.
I was supposed to do it before this show, but I will do it before our next one.
Yep.
Speaking of which, we are the focus of today is going to be on Grammys predictions, and we're actually going to release a week later as well with the Grammys recap. So we're usually going to keep our every other week situation here with the podcast, but because the Grammys, we want to be able to react right after they happen. That one's going to be coming a little bit sooner. So why don't we move into that? It's music's biggest night. It's going to be here. We thought it might get canceled for a second because of the fires. I'm really
Yeah,
glad they're not doing that. I
me
think
too.
I understand people's heart being in the right place, but I think especially now people want the entertainment, in the city, and they
They
need
want
that
the
community
escape.
to bring people together. Yeah, exactly. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Mhm.
especially the political stuff going on in the world right now.
Yep.
It's like I'm very, very glad that we are getting the Grammys telecast
Yep.
as it was intended. I haven't really followed who's performing. I know Trevor Noah's hosting again for the fifth consecutive year. He does a great job, so happy about that.
Mhm.
Do you know who is supposed to be performing at all?
As far as I know, no performers have been announced yet. They
Okay.
normally don't get announced until like right before. Um, I think scheduling things and stuff, they just don't want to put the carriage before the horse a little bit. They want to make sure that it's really locked in before they announce it. So they normally kind of do it last minute. I have not heard of any performers if there have been any announced. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Well, that's good to know. I was like, I feel like I haven't seen anything, so
Yeah,
I'm hoping that we get Charlie XCX and Sabrina and
me too.
Chappell. Not sure we'll get a Taylor Swift or Beyonce this year, maybe, but they've kind of graduated into I
I
don't need to
doubt
do
it.
a Grammys performance.
Yep.
Uh,
I
that's
highly
okay
doubt
though.
it.
Maybe Kendrick. I would love to see Not Like Us get performed. It would be a pretty historic moment.
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, I'm not
He
sure
might
yet.
he might save it for the Super Bowl instead of trying to do it
Oh, word. Yeah,
for
it's the next
Grammys.
week. So
Hmm.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
He'll probably be busy with those rehearsals.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
would
Speaking
imagine.
of which, we did get the I think this happened since our last podcast, the Cowboy Carter
Oh, the
performance.
Beyonce Bowl.
Yeah, the Beyonce Bowl on
So
Christmas on
good.
Netflix. Yeah.
Yes.
So the game was terrible, but Beyonce performed in Houston, the Chiefs Texans game at Christmas, and did a medley of Cowboy Carter. Essentially, she threw in one
Mhm.
song from Renaissance, the bonus track, but
Mhm.
otherwise it was all Cowboy Carter. And it
Yeah.
was kind of her last minute Grammys push, and the production was honestly better than most Super Bowl performances. It was
With
unbelievable.
without a doubt, it was like one of the best live performances I've ever seen, and it was just like a random game.
Yeah.
So leave it to Beyonce, right? This is a good question. Do you think that was her push to be like, wink, wink, Grammy voters? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
because she really did not do any of the work after Cowboy Carter was released. She basically
No.
released it and was like, bye.
She
Didn't
she had to remind people it came out so early in the year.
It
So
did. And normally there's a lot of promotion and some handshaking to try and get those nominations and the votes. And she's Beyonce, so she doesn't have to do that, but clearly she hasn't fared well in the album of the year field in the past. So I wondered when I heard the Beyonce Bowl announcement that close to the end of Grammy voting, I was like, I wonder if this is her way of reminding the voters that she's still there.
yeah, I certainly feel like it is. Timmy Chalamet is doing something similar this weekend on SNL. He's
Mm-hmm.
performing the Bob Dylan songs from A Complete Unknown. He's the first non-professional singer to perform as the musical guest on SNL in like 30 years. And
Wow.
it's clearly a last minute
Yeah,
Oscars, voting.
very clearly.
Look at me. I did it. I did the work.
Right.
Actually, we should talk about that very briefly. I don't know. You haven't seen A Complete Unknown yet,
I have
right?
not. I haven't seen hardly
Uh,
any of the movies.
I truly thought it was fantastic. I
Oh,
loved A
wow.
Complete Unknown, and it made me a Bob Dylan fan, who's someone that I've always known of and respected for his place in American history and his place in the music industry,
Yeah.
but not someone whose songs I was really super familiar with.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people make fun of his voice, and that's sort of how I'd always conceived of him, as just a man with
Me
a silly
too.
voice that wrote good songs. But Timmy's performance is unbelievable, and I really fell in love. I actually bought one of Dylan's records on vinyl after
Oh, wow.
seeing the movie.
Okay.
Sarah wasn't as big a fan of the movie, but I think we both really appreciated the performances, especially.
Yeah.
Monica Barbaro does a great Joan Baez. I think Ed Norton gives one of the best performances of his career as Pete Seeger. He's absolutely astounding in it. So this is a great Johnny Cash performance by Boyd Holbrook. It's a lot of fun. I really
Okay.
recommend the movie, and it's essentially like it's not as much of a movie as it is like a 2-hour music video.
Mm.
There's just they perform entire songs multiple times during the movie, and
Okay.
some of them, like the first song that Timothy sings, is just a long shot of him playing guitar and singing, and they never cut. It just zooms in on him, but that's it. Like he
Wow.
just does the whole performance in the room. It's unbelievable. He's
Okay.
such a great job.
Very
So
cool.
yeah, definitely recommend seeing A Complete Unknown for music fans. It's really cool, and apparently very historically accurate in terms of the use of the instruments they use, the recording techniques, the look and feel of everything. It felt very historically accurate for the early 60s. So really cool
Cool.
stuff.
Okay. I'll have to
That
check it
being
out.
said, let's get into Grammys predictions.
Let's do it.
So
So
I know,
I
is
was
this your,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Is this your favorite award show?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Without a doubt.
I'm still an Oscars boy, but I think the
Mhm.
Grammys has become my second favorite over the years.
It is nearly always a mess. Like,
Right.
you can't take it too seriously, which I do, which is always my problem. I'm
Right.
getting better each year, taking it less and less seriously. But it is the most fun because the performances are always the best, I think. It's not like the VMAs that's really trashy. It just feels like reality TV. This is like, it's kind of like a mix between like the snooty film awards and like the VMAs, right? It's like a marriage of it. So I like that part of it. It's a little bit more entertaining for me. Oscars can run pretty dry for me a lot of the time.
Yeah, I love it, but it's hard to defend sometimes.
I know. And also I just, as I've gotten older, I just do not see these movies anymore. So there was a time in college, like when Movie Pass was a thing, RIP. I was seeing like every nominee for Best Picture, for whatever, all of the things, because I don't know, I was bored, I guess, and just they were free movies, and so I went. But as I've gotten older, I just don't really see a lot of the movies anymore. So Grammys is really the one where I feel like I know everything going in.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
I'm thinking we do like who we think is gonna win and who we think should win for each category we go over.
I like that.
Okay, cool. So where are we starting?
Let's start with the pop categories. That's kind of the focus of this show. We're going to lean into that a little bit more. We love other music as well, but the mainstream stuff is what people want to talk about. So
yep,
we'll just get into that. We'll go ahead and go with the pop category. So let's start with Best Pop Solo Performance. The nominees for that are Beyonce with Bodyguard, Billie Eilish with Birds of a Feather. We got Chappell Roan with Good Luck Babe, Charlie XCX with Apple, and Sabrina Carpenter with Espresso. What is your prediction for who wins this category?
This is going to be one of the hardest Grammys ever, honestly. Like,
I agree. I think off the bat, we should say that this is stacked.
It can go so many different ways. So what I'm trying to figure out before I say my pick, what I'm trying to figure out is what they're going to do. Are they going to do like traditional Grammys where one person is going to take home like 70 Grammys? Or are they going to do like the 2021 Grammys, which were the COVID Grammys, where they like spread the wealth a little bit? You know what I mean? Like, someone who didn't win Album of the Year won pop vocal, like Future Nostalgia won pop vocal, but Folklore won album. They were both nominated for pop vocal, but they spread the wealth a little bit. I'm trying to think, are they going to do something like that? Or is it going to be like winner takes all type of deal, right? So I think for the sake of the show, I'm going to say that they're going to spread the wealth a little bit because there was so much fantastic, especially pop music this year.
That's my hope as well.
So I think this could be where Chappell comes in and takes an award. I think that we'll get to that when we get to that. But I'm going to say either Good Luck Babe or Espresso. Okay. I think is probably the front runner here.
Sure. And I would say Espresso is my front runner with Birds of a Feather as the dark horse winner here.
Yep.
I think I'm so interested to see what they do with Billie, because
I know, me too.
Billie is the Grammy's darling, right? And we think she put out the best album this year, but she doesn't have the most buzz going into the show. I think other artists have I think Charlie has gotten a lot of recognition. I think the Chappell Sabrina thing is undeniable. And then I
Mhm.
think Beyonce, because of the ambition of the album and the fact that the Grammys haven't awarded her in these big categories as much, is certainly dominating a lot of conversation. There's also Kendrick to talk about. So, I mean, there's like a lot of people
Yeah.
going into these that I'm like, I don't know what
Yeah.
they're gonna do. I
Yeah.
do think I do think Espresso is like the song. Like it's the song.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. So it's hard to say because I feel like Birds of a Feather maybe has a better chance in some of the bigger categories, the general
Sure.
fields.
Agreed.
So I would say I think the safest bet here, if I'm going to put my chips on something, it's probably Espresso. Um, but I don't see a world in which Good Luck Babe takes any of the general field, so they could throw her a bone here.
Yeah.
Is kind of my thought. But I would say definitely for sure safest bet Espresso.
Sure. What do you think should win this category?
I mean, Birds of a Feather. It's
Yeah,
my
I
favorite
agree.
song of the year. So
I would say Birds of a Feather or Bodyguard are actually my two favorites in this category.
yeah, that's super fair. That's super fair. I I love Apple for sure, but I don't think pop solo is her category.
No, definitely
Definitely
not.
not. No.
The nomination of Apple in this category to me shows just how much they loved Charlie, because this is
Yes.
not one she should have been nominated for or even thought she probably would be. And
Right.
the fact that she got in here is like kind of shocking.
It is shocking. I agree. But it's cool. It's really
Yeah,
cool.
it's very cool.
So, okay.
All right, let's go to Best Pop Duo Group Performance. So the
Mhm.
nominees for this are Ariana Grande, Brandy, and Monica for the Boy Is Mine remix. Beyonce featuring Post Malone for Levi's Jeans. We've got Charlie XCX and Billie Eilish for the Guest remix. We've got Gracie Abrams featuring Taylor Swift, Us, and then Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars with Die With a Smile. So what do you
Mhm.
think is going to win this category?
This I actually think is extraordinarily hard to predict
I agree.
because it's hard to bet against Bruno Mars at the Grammys.
Yes.
This man has not lost a Grammy since 2016 that he's been nominated for.
Goodness gracious, that's crazy.
Has not lost one since 2016. So now he hasn't been nominated every year since 2016, but every year that he has been nominated, he's taken home everything he's nominated for. So very hard to bet against that. However, Billie Eilish is also a Grammys darling,
Yeah,
and that guest remix was huge. Like that's
very.
part of the reason Brat took off as much as it did was that guest remix.
Mm-hmm.
So it's between those two, and I don't think any of the others even stand a close chance. As
Hard
much as
agree.
I love Levi's Jeans, because I do love Levi's Jeans, and their performance together at the Beyonce Bowl was epic. But
That was actually probably my favorite moment of the whole
yeah,
thing.
it was so cool on the druck.
Yeah.
I call it a druck. A jean truck. Yeah, I have no idea which way this is gonna go. I think I'm gonna safe bet Die With a Smile.
Cool. And I'm gonna bet guess.
I think that's fair. Like it really is a flip of a coin. I don't know which
Yeah.
one it's gonna go
I'm
to.
a bit wish casting here because I think guess is better.
I want Guess to win.
Yeah. Is that your pick for what should win?
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it should win. Because I think Die With a Smile, although good, is not very interesting.
Yeah. I agree. I just think because of the love of Charlie and Billie,
Mm-hmm.
the love of the performers itself will get the song its victory. That being said, Die With a
Fingers crossed.
Smile is the more likely pick. I mean, looking at all the odds, it has the higher odds.
It's
Guess is number
Grammys
2
bait.
in like everyone.
That song is
Yeah.
textbook Grammys bait. It's
100%.
like it's borderline adult contemporary.
Yes.
It's two not legacy acts really, because they're still they're still in the game, but going to be legacy acts, people
Sure.
that have been in the Grammys for years and years and years. It's like the perfect recipe to get a Grammy. So
Undeniably.
I can't imagine it'll lose, but I really, really hope
Yeah.
that Guess will take it.
Okay, let's look at dance pop recordings. So this is an interesting category to me because I think there's a couple things that could win. So Ariana Grande is nominated for Guess and, which was a big hit. Billie Eilish is nominated for the L'Amour de ma vie Over Now extended edit, which is essentially just the second half of that song. Charlie XCX is nominated for Von Dutch. Madison Beer for Make You Mine, and Troye Sivan for Got Me Started, which is a great song. Happy to see Troy get in here. What do you think's going to win this?
If Ariana has a chance at any of these, it's this one.
Agreed.
So I do think it'll go to Yes and.
Okay. I think it goes to Von Dutch.
I would love it. I love
Okay.
Von Dutch. I live
I
for
would
Von
pick
Dutch.
Yes and. So that's my personal pick. I love Yes and. I listen to it like it was my most listened to song on Spotify this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would love that. But
I
kind
think
of feel like Von Dutch.
I mean they snubbed her everywhere else.
Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna give Ariana Grande one award, and it's this one.
Yeah. Especially now that it's looking like her Oscar odds are lower.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing.
It's
but,
so sad.
I still think she's second in that race, but it just feels like I don't know. We'll talk about that later. I have some Oscars thoughts at the end. Anyway, yeah, it's between Yes and Von Dutch to me.
I think so too. And Von Dutch is definitely equally likely because Charlie's gotten so many nominations. It's a question of, is Charlie taking any of these other ones?
Yes.
Because if Charlie doesn't take any of the other ones, then yeah, this is the clearer one to give to Charlie. But because Ariana doesn't have a chance anywhere else, it could go to her here. I really don't know. I
think Charlie's a lock for what I'll get to as our next category. Okay. And so I kind of agree. If they want to spread the wealth, it's going to be Ariana. If they want to really acknowledge how much Brat made an impact on the industry this year, then they're going to go with
Von Dutch. Yep, I agree with that. Agreed. What I want to win, you know what I want to win. It will never.
Oh, Troy?
Yes. Got Me Started was my... It was my favorite song of 2023. I'm obsessed with that song. I've listened to it an ungodly amount of times, and I've seen the music video upwards of 50 times. I love that song so much. I could probably go... I could do a whole episode on how Troy is our one male pop star and he will be paid dust until he dies because he's gay.
Yeah, it's really upsetting.
I could write a dissertation about it. This man could be the biggest pop star in the world if he wanted to be. And he does want to be. I think he does want to be. But because people are homophobic, he won't.
I know. And it's so frustrating because like it's because he's out and proud.
Yes, so out and proud.
Because like, you know, Freddie Mercury was extremely popular, but he was closeted, you know?
Yep. And Troy is
frustrating.
Troy's very femme.
Exactly.
And people hate femme men.
Well, people hate women. And so
exactly. Right. So that's the problem. But I think that he has all the makings of like an absolute A-list mega pop star, and no other man is on that level.
No.
There's not another man that's making pop music like that.
Not coming up. I mean, Ed Sheeran, I think, is there. I think The Weeknd.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of, I'm talking like capital P pop star. I'm not talking like Ed Sheeran is
outfits. Vibes.
Ed Sheeran is a quote unquote pop star, but like he doesn't do the pop thing, right? He doesn't have backup dancers and exactly. It's a different type of thing. And The Weeknd, I think, has the right type of music, but he does not have the star power.
I agree. Actually, you know who is kind of in this category is Bad Bunny.
That's very true. Bad Bunny is huge.
Up there. Yeah.
Agreed. I think Harry Styles wants to be this.
Sure.
But I don't
Harry
think
Styles is straddling the line of like the David Bowie thing.
Yes.
Which is, this is a completely sidetracking moment, but Robert Eggers, who directed Nosferatu, The Witch, The Lighthouse, he is doing a Labyrinth sequel I just saw this morning.
Oh, interesting.
And people immediately, he had originally wanted to cast Harry Styles in Nosferatu. So people are wondering if Harry Styles is going to be the David Bowie.
Since
character.
David Bowie was.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought. Very, very interesting thought.
I'd like it. I think they have similar vibes. So
yeah. And I guess I should re-clarify. I don't think Harry Styles aspires to be like the capital P pop star thing. I think he wants to be a little bit. I think he wants to be a little bit more indie. I don't think he ever will be that because he's Harry Styles.
Right.
But anyways, a whole other tangent. I just love Troye Sivan and I love Got Me Started and I would love it to win, but it will never win. That's okay.
Yeah. The category that Charlie XCX is a lock to win is Best Dance Electronic Music Album, where Brad is nominated, and the rest of the nominees are Fortet, 3, Justice, Hyperdrama, Catronata, Timeless, and Zed's Telos. Only one of those was nominated for Album of the Year, so
this is obvious.
It's Brat.
It's Brat.
And it should be Brat. I haven't listened to the others, but it should be Brat. So there you go.
Agreed. That's a no-brainer. She'll win that one.
Really intense, analysis and commentary there.
Yeah.
Best pop vocal album though is going to be an absolute bloodbath. So you've got 4 nominees that were nominated for Album of the Year, and also Eternal Sunshine. So it's
Yeah.
Eternal Sunshine, Hit Me Hard and Soft, The Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess, Short and Sweet, and The Tortured Poets Department. I have no idea.
I mean, yeah. Okay,
Because
so
also, before we even get into predictions, the Grammys has a history of picking an album for Album of the Year that doesn't even win its own category.
yes.
This has happened multiple times.
Well,
And so
I was just talking about Folklore, which lost to Future Nostalgia.
there
in the
you go.
category.
So this category is often won by a pure pop album
Yes.
that, you know, that doesn't necessarily correlate to its odds in Album of the Year. So
Yes.
that's what makes this really, 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 really hard for me.
Yep. It usually, you're correct. It is an album that embodies what pop music is. So like Tortured Poets Department has no chance because that's way too fringe.
Yeah. Well, okay, but before we hop to another thing, is this where they pay homage to the altar of Taylor?
I don't know. I am going in with the assumption, and by assumption I mean hope, that they do not pay homage to the altar of Taylor at all this year. Because I just don't think the work is deserving.
I agree.
And as much as that's, probably wishful thinking because it is Taylor and they've got to give her something, I guess. I just really think that there are so many other things that could potentially distract the Grammy voters this year because they were just so much better.
Yeah.
In a lighter year where there was not as much fantastic music and we had Tortured Poets Department, which still in that case probably wouldn't be as deserving, probably stands out a little bit more. But because we have such a rich collection of pop music this year, I could see it being, completely shut out.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's your guess is as good as mine.
I agree. I think they almost feel like they have to give Taylor something.
Yep.
But she's like the fifth choice in almost every category this year.
We'll know at the beginning of the night if she's there or not. If she does not show up, she's not getting anything.
Sure, because they'll probably tip her off.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating.
That's when we'll know. But
she'll have to be at the Super Bowl the next week. So
right.
Wink, wink.
I'm operating under the assumption for prediction purposes that Tortured Poets is getting shut out.
Yeah, I'm hoping that.
Yeah,
that's a bit of wishful thinking, but yeah. I'm hoping that.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think?
Call your shot. You first.
Short and sweet.
Man, I want to say short and sweet, but I'm gonna go with Hit Me Hard and Soft.
Okay. I think Hit Me Hard and Soft has, spoiler alert, one of two of the best chances to win Album of the Year. So
agreed.
I could see this, if it does win Album of the Year, I could see this being a Future Nostalgia Folklore moment where they give the capital P pop album, pop vocal, and the more interesting album.
I also wouldn't count out Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess winning this category.
I wouldn't either. That would be my second pick, actually.
It's one of those three. What would you pick? What is your choice?
Eternal Sunshine.
Same.
Eternal Sunshine. It has no chance here, but obviously Hit Me Hard and Soft, if you have listened to our past episodes, is our favorite album of last year collectively. But I think for pop vocal album, I would love to see Ariana take it. I think this is her category. Like, this is where she shines the most, as a pop vocal moment, and I would love to see her take it. She won't.
Yeah, and Eternal Sunshine was literally my second favorite album of last year. So I would love to see it get this as well.
Alas, we'll see.
We'll see.
But I would say I'm gonna go strongly with Short and Sweet, I think, as my pick for this.
Yeah. Okay. Briefly, I want to look at country and rap, because I think in both of these categories, one artist is going to dominate. In the country categories, it's going to be Beyonce. She's nominated for country album, country song, even a best Americana performance, best country duo group performance with Miley, best country solo performance for 16 Carriages. I just think she's going to win almost all of these, if not all of them.
Me too. Me too.
And there are some good nominees. I am curious. Best country duo group performance feels like it could go to Post Malone and Morgan Wallen for "I Had Some Help."
I think they could throw a bone there.
Yeah,
It was such a huge song.
it
I
was.
just
It's a great song.
they've just historically hated Morgan Wallen.
Yeah,
Right,
fair.
as they should.
Should.
As we all should. Um so that could, that could totally throw
Derail
them
it.
out of the
Yeah.
race, but I do think that's probably their best shot is right there.
Yeah, I agree.
I also wonder with best country solo if Shabuzi could
Oh, you
take
know
it
what? I
for
actually do
Tipsy.
think that I actually did write down that I think Tipsy wins that category. Just
Yeah,
because 16 Carriages is probably, as much as it's a great song, it's definitely not one of the ones that people are flocking towards at this point in
exactly.
time.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's a bit weaker among her nominations. And Shabuzi's song was so strong. I mean, it was the biggest like radio hit of the year. So,
Yeah, right. Exactly.
uh,
So I do think Shabuzi will probably take that one. I think Two Most Wanted has a very good shot, but I think I Had Some Help could give them a
yeah,
run for its money. I don't see any world in which Texas Hold'em does not take country song.
agreed. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to win that. And it's going to win album. I think she
Yes.
has overwhelming odds to win country album.
Yeah, completely agree.
So that takes us to rap, where again, I think this is Kendrick and Not Like Us are going to sweep rap song, rap performance.
Hmm.
Actually, is he nominated for rap? That's melodic rap performance. Yeah. Rap performance, rap song. I think Not Like Us wins both of those.
Hmm.
Best rap album is interesting. I think the highest odds right now are for Eminem. I actually think Doechie's going to win this.
Eminem has the highest odds right now, really?
Yeah.
I guess just because he's Eminem, but people hated that album.
No, I know. That's why I think Doechii might win, because
I could see Doechii. She's
she's
had a
had
really
quite a year.
she's had a strong like 11th hour swing in here. Like
100%. She's been
she has
making a
blown
push.
up in the past month. So
Well,
I could
her
definitely see that.
Tiny Desk was a big reason for that.
I think so too.
A lot of people found out about her from that.
It's like Chappell Roan's Tiny Desk,
Yeah,
which catapulted her along with Coachella. So
100%. Yep,
it can do numbers if it's good.
for sure. And it would be an interesting winner because it's technically a mixtape, and so
Right.
it might have lower odds because of that. But it would be a very cool winner to have a female rapper win best rap album.
Yep.
I don't know when the last time that's happened or if it's ever happened because I don't have the stats in front of me, but I assume it's very rare.
Yeah, I do too. Well, we'll have to see, but I think Doechie's a really good pick there. I think you might be onto something. I know the Future and Metro Boomin, a lot of people really liked.
Yep.
The We Don't Trust You album. So that I think also has a pretty good shot.
I agree. I think it's one of those three.
Yep.
I love J. Cole, but I heard nothing about My Delete Later, and Common and Pete Rock are not winning that category. Sorry.
Surely not.
Okay. So anything in the alternative or rock album categories, or
I just
general?
don't really know a lot of those,
Me too.
to be honest. So
my shoot your shot moment is I think that Pearl Jam wins a couple of these rock awards for Dark Matter. That
Okay.
album kind of pierced the mainstream in a way that nobody was expecting. And I think of all of the nominees in the rock categories, I think that one's probably the strongest in terms of
Yeah.
name recognition and like people actually enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
I do think St. Vincent probably wins best rock album, or is she no, best alternative album? Is that what she's in? Yeah.
She's in best alternative album.
Yeah.
I could see a world in which a album that I never listened to, but a lot of critics loved, was the Fontaines DC album, Romance.
Yeah.
I spent all of last year hearing about that album. I never got around to it, but
I listened to a little bit of it.
So
I would
could
be
see maybe
happy
that.
I'd be happy if that won some stuff just because it's a newer artist and different.
Yeah.
These categories are really old man yells at cloud kind of rock categories. So
Yeah.
I know it wasn't a marquee year for rock music, but it just feels a little stale and boring. I mean,
Yeah.
Jack White and the Rolling Stones and the Black Crowes and Green Day, really? The Black Keys? Come on, guys. What are we doing?
I know. It's just the old farts hanging on.
Yeah, metal performance, I think, is going to be Knocked Loose featuring Poppy for Suffocate. They were just on one of the night shows. I want to say Kimmel because he always has cool acts on. And they're very popular right now in the metal world. I could also see Gojira possibly winning that. They were featured at the Olympics opening
Hmm.
ceremony, so
I have a friend
certainly a
who's
chance.
obsessed with both Metallica and Gojira, so
Oh,
good
nice. I
good for
mean,
him.
Metallica's always great.
Yeah.
They've been in the business for 40 years. It's like kind of a little bit boring, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, should we get to some of the bigger categories then?
Yeah. Let's go to the general field.
Oh, I'm sorry. One more smaller one I want to hit
Uh-huh.
is um, best visual media score.
Mm.
So this seems to be a two-horse race between two scores that were snubbed by the Oscars. First being Challengers, and second being Dune Part Two. In the Oscars case, Dune Part Two was found ineligible because it used more than 25% of the score from Part One.
Oh,
I think it's
interesting.
a stupid rule, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
The Challenger snub is one of the most egregious Oscar snubs I have ever seen in my, I don't know, 20 years of loving the Oscars.
I
It is
was shocked.
shocking. It won the Golden Globe,
Yeah.
and it is by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Like, the name recognition alone should have gotten you a nomination.
Yep.
And the fact that it is the best score of the year makes
I
this
know.
even more frustrating. So
I know. I was shocked when I did not see that there.
yeah, I do think Challengers wins this award as another fuck you to the Academy, but we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Certainly
But
Dune is very deserving. We both love Dune. So
yes, I love that score.
okay. Major categories.
Big ones. Do you want to start with
Yes.
best new artist?
Let's do best new artist first.
Okay.
It's Chappell.
I don't know.
You don't know? You're gonna say Sabrina?
Because I think Sabrina has had an incredible push to the end.
She has. She's had a better push.
I think Chappell, if you would have asked me summer of last year, it would have been Chappell and it wasn't even close. But I think that Sabrina has made herself known so much with the release of Short and Sweet and with the tour. She had a
Yeah.
viral moment every night on tour because of the position thing, which is, I could also go on a dissertation about how concerts have changed to become about the live streaming audience and not the audience in
Yes.
person.
Yes.
I could do a dissertation about that. I'll get to that at a different time. But she went viral like every night for the tour. She was omnipresent. I just think that she has been a little bit more in the forefront the second half of this Grammys season. And because of that, I think she might be more fresh in people's minds when they vote. Because after the whole, like, you know, Chappell blew up on the internet about, you know, political stuff and this, that, or the other, she kind of hit a little bit. I think rightfully so, but I just think because of that, it might hurt her chances, as well as the fact that the album came out in 2023.
Year and a half ago now. Almost.
So now, all that being said, Sabrina has also been in the game since 2015, I think. So I could see some Grammys voters being like, she's been around too long. She's had her chance.
Yeah.
Let's give it to a truly new artist, because Chappell is a truly new artist, right?
Yes.
So I don't know which way it's going to go. I think my gut right now is telling me Sabrina.
Okay, that's fascinating. My prediction is purely based on the influence that Chappell's had on the industry.
For
So
sure.
I think if this was a general popularity award, Sabrina would win. But I think the Grammys voters are going to favor Chappell for her influence.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I mean, a lot of people, actors, musicians, have just raved about. I mean, namely, just recently, Andrew Garfield went on a talk show with Florence Pugh and just like raved about. I don't know if it was a talk show or just an interview, but raved about Chappell for like 10 minutes. So I agree with you there. She's definitely permeated the A-list a little bit more.
Yeah. It's going to be a photo finish, though. I mean, I agree with you. I think Sabrina's made a much more of a push to actually get this win.
Agreed.
So her campaign has been a lot better.
Agreed.
Okay. So let's briefly touch on producer and songwriter of the year, maybe. Producer, I have Dan Nigro. I think he's going to win. We shall see. I've heard
I think
some love for Mustard for doing Not Like Us as well, but I think that's more of a Kendrick award.
I do too.
So yeah, I think Nigro probably should have won last year, to be honest. And I'm happy he's kind of just not competing against Jack this time, because it might be his chance.
With the amount of songs that charted from Midwest Princess, like people weren't talking about one song from that album.
Yeah.
People were talking about like 6 different songs, and I think that alone will give him that
Right.
award.
Um,
Yeah.
Songwriter of the Year is only the third year of this award, and it's been won by men the first 2 years. People think that a woman is going to win this year, so it seems to be between Amy Allen and Ray for
Right.
this
Yep.
award. So I'm curious to see who wins that. I don't really have a strong feel for who's going to win, but
Me neither.
it would be cool.
I think Amy Allen did more this year.
Yes, and
So
I believe she's the only. I think did she do Die with a Smile?
did she?
No, she did. She did. Please, please, please. Hold on. I'm gonna look this up.
She did a lot with Sabrina.
Okay, it was Please, Please, Please. She's the
Yeah.
only songwriter this year that was nominated for Song of the Year. That's also
Okay.
in the songwriter category.
Okay.
So I think that will help her chances. But Ray is pretty well liked. So.
I thought it was cool to see Ray here. I love her. So that's very cool.
And I believe she wrote not only just her own stuff, but worked with other artists as well.
Well, she wrote something for Beyonce. Was it Two Hands to Heaven? No, it was Riverdance.
Oh, okay. Cool.
She wrote Riverdance. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Very, very cool. Okay, so let's get to the big three. That's what we've been waiting for.
So
What should we start with? Song of the Year?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let's do song.
Song of the Year. Here are the nominees for Song of the Year this year. Beyonce for Texas Hold'em. Billie Eilish for Birds of a Feather. Chappell Roan for Good Luck Babe. Kendrick for Not Like Us. Lady Gaga and Bruno for Die With a Smile. Sabrina for Please, Please, Please. Shabuzi for A Bar Song, Tipsy. And Taylor Swift featuring Post Malone for Fortnite.
Fortnite for sure.
Yeah, definitely Fortnite. Definitely the one that's been unmistakably the best song of the year.
Yeah. Okay.
I could see her winning, honestly.
I say again, it is really hard to bet against Bruno Mars. I don't want that. A world in which Die With a Smile wins Song of the Year is a world I don't want to live in. I want to make that very clear. I do not want this thing to win. I'm really hoping it doesn't, but it's really hard to bet against Bruno Mars. It just is. They just love him. They adore that man so much. But I think I'm gonna shout out 3 songs.
Okay.
That I think realistically could take this.
Okay.
Birds of a Feather.
Uh-huh.
Die With a Smile.
Uh-huh.
Not Like Us.
Okay, none of those are my pick.
Interesting. What's your pick?
I'm going to stick with my gut and say Good Luck Babe. I think it's had the best campaign for this award.
Okay.
Justin Tranter has been on every interview trying to hype himself up, which I love. And because Chappell's beloved and Dan Nigro is beloved, I think this has a chance. That being said, I do not think it has the highest odds to win. So it is truly a gut-based pick. I don't... If I had to pick, I think highest odds to win, I would probably say Birds of a Feather. Just because they won this category last year with the song for Barbie. And, Phineas and Billie, they're more respected than anything else for their writing. And I think this is probably their category to win.
Yeah. I think if I'm going to stake my claim, I'm going to say Birds of a Feather for this one.
Okay. Which I assume presumably would be your desired winner as well.
Yes, it's for sure my desired winner, but I agree with you that they have won this award thrice. Yeah, 3 times. Bad Guy, right? Everything I Wanted, and What Was I Made For?
Yeah.
So odds are good that they're going to win it again.
Very good.
So I would probably say that if it's not going to be Bruno. Hopefully it's not Bruno.
Yeah.
But I would love Good Luck Babe too. I think that'd be a great pick.
Yeah, I would also pick Birds of a Feather, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
To win
I can't imagine Birds of a Feather.
Please, 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 to be honest.
I would love Please, Please, Please too. Really, I'd be happy with most of these. I can't imagine a world in which Birds of a Feather does not get awarded at all in this Grammys.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think this is their category.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's the best bet. Of all the ones for Billie and Phineas to win, I think this is the best bet.
Me too.
That being said, I really don't know.
Yeah.
This is a very, very strong slate. Better than almost every year I've seen. Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. which leads us to record, which is also an incredible slate of
Yeah.
nominees.
So here's the nominees for record of the year: The Beatles with Now and Then, Beyonce with Texas Hold'em, Billie with Birds of a Feather, Chappell Roan with Good Luck Babe, Charlie XCX with 360, Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us, Sabrina Carpenter this time for Espresso, and once again Taylor Swift and Post Malone for Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
I think Espresso wins this.
It's Espresso.
Yeah.
No other song can win this award. In fact,
Yeah.
I will be actively angry if any other song aside from Espresso
Yeah,
wins
Not
this
Like
award.
Us is the only one with a chance, but
Yeah.
it's got to be Espresso.
It has to be. It was the song of the year.
Yeah.
It was everywhere. And that, in my opinion, is record of the year.
Agreed. It has to be
the song that was most
earworm.
ubiquitous. Yes. Yeah. And like, I think, I think about recent winners like About Damn Time, Flowers. Like,
yes.
It's the earwormy, ultra popular, everybody's singing along song.
If you're not hearing it at Kroger, it's probably not going to get this award.
You've got it. Yep. It has to be Espresso.
Yeah.
It's what I want to win, and it's what I think will win.
Yeah. I agree. So
I don't see a different world. 360 would be awesome though. I love 360.
Yeah, I don't mind if they pick a different winner for this, but I would be a little bit disappointed if Sabrina doesn't win this award.
Yeah,
she is one of the only deserves it.
This is one of the only ones I feel particularly strongly about.
I do too. I think of all of the major categories, this is the most likely to be the one thing that we think it's going to be.
Yeah, agreed.
That brings us to, as I finally call AOD, album of the year.
AOD. I hate that.
Beyonce said in her album, AOTY, I Ain't Win. Does she win this year for
We'll see.
Cowboy Carter? The other nominees are Andre 3000, New Blue Sun, Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft, Chappell Roan, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess, Charlie XCX's Brat, Jacob Collier with Jesse Volume 4, Sabrina Carpenter, Short and Sweet, and Taylor Swift with The Tortured Poets Department.
Pick up that flute, because I think it's Andre 3000.
Yeah, it's definitely
Andre. It's Cowboy Carter or Hit Me Hard and Soft.
Yes.
For sure. I don't think any of the others really stand a chance against those two.
I think The Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess is like a weird dark horse spoiler.
Could be.
Yeah.
Or
Brat.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think Brat has a chance.
The overwhelming love for Charlie. You don't think it has a chance?
I understand. I think it's going to be too polarizing. Remember that this is a category that everyone votes for.
True.
All music industry people vote for this. And I think Brat has such a cult niche following that clearly ran down the list, right? But this is everybody. And it's not for everybody.
So a lot of people have given good odds to Taylor for this award.
I would just absolutely.
I would lose my mind.
Yeah, I would.
Do you think there's a world where that happens?
Not even a little bit. No.
I kind of don't either this year.
Nope. I don't see any world in which this wins.
Yeah.
Considering she just won last year?
Yeah, and she set the record 4 times.
Yeah, 4 album of the year wins. She just won for Midnights.
Yeah.
No, I think, and that's one of the reasons I think Tortured Poets is going to get virtually shut out is because she's had her moment
so much,
and has won so much, exactly. So
and it's a weak album.
It is. So I don't think I would be truly, genuinely shocked if that takes home album.
Okay, so call your shot. What wins?
I think I just saw that the betting odds just flipped to Cowboy Carter. They were on Hit Me Hard and Soft for a long time. I don't know. I've been avoiding staking my claim because I truly think it's a 50-50 chance.
Yeah. I'll go with Hit Me Hard and Soft. It's wish casting a little bit, but I also, Billie and Phineas are just loved by everyone.
They are.
And Beyonce's not.
No, she's not.
And in a popularity contest, I'll go with the people that everyone likes more.
Yep. It's really hard to say. If Beyonce wins, it's a legacy award.
Yeah, because I don't think anyone really thinks it's her best album.
No. Not that it's not amazing, because it is.
No, it is.
And it would be an extremely deserving winner, and I'd be thrilled.
Hit Me Hard and Soft is Billie's best album.
For sure. And a very deserving winner as well. So I think you're right. I do think it has the best odds. again because it's Billie and Phineas. Although they did lose for Happier Than Ever, but I think Happier Than Ever was a big departure from what makes them great. Personally, I
I,
know you love that
I
record.
love it, but I wasn't shocked that didn't win Best Album.
I'm trying to
It's
remember what
it's a
did
very
get you.
wide-ranging album, Happier Than Ever. It's kind of all over the place.
Yes, it is. Was that the what's his face here? John Batiste. Was that the John Batiste
Oh,
year?
that might have been.
Yeah, that was wild. So I just don't know. I mean, they're pretty much always going to take home either record or song whenever they're nominated. I just don't know. She's won Album of the Year once, obviously.
Yeah,
So it's just not the best track record. Yeah,
for sure. But I also think she's an artist that should be winning Album of the Year twice at this point, based on her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that being said, like Beyonce should have won by now too. So
like 4
obviously.
different times. Yes.
Yeah.
I truly do think it is you flip a coin and whichever it lands on is going to win. I'm at a true 50-50. I think if I'm going to make a guess, I think I'll say Hit Me Hard and Soft. I will be equally as happy.
I'll be happy for Beyonce too, but Hit Me Hard and Soft is the best album of the year, and it should win.
For sure. And I agree with you. Absolutely. It's time for Beyonce to get her flowers. It's long overdue. And I'm not always for a legacy award, but with an album this quality, I don't think it's a non-deserving album of the year.
Agreed.
Like, if she came out with some bullshit and it was really bad and then won for that because she's Beyonce, I'd be mad. But like Cowboy Carter is exceptional, so
yeah,
I would be thrilled for it. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen with this one.
I'm very curious. It's going to be a wonderful finish to the night.
It will. I'm excited to see it.
A true pencil drop moment, you know.
Yeah, I'm not sure Beyonce Bowl is going to move the needle enough.
That was more for the fans, I think, than anything. It was a great PR moment for the album.
Yeah,
but it was for the fans.
It had a good spot Christmas Day, so everyone's home. Yeah. You know, with their families. So I
Netflix,
think,
the most watched streamer.
Yep, it got a lot of views. Got more views than a certain Orange Cheetos inauguration.
Yeah,
which is really funny. But I don't know that it was enough to like sway a bunch of voters towards it. I think more than anything, it just reminded people how great of a performer Beyonce is, not necessarily how great Cowboy Carter is.
Yes.
So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
It's going to be a wild Grammys. I'm very excited. We're going to be doing our recap like literally the morning after, and it'll be posted the Tuesday after the Grammys. So definitely take a look at that. Do you have any things that are sparking joy right now?
Yeah. I was drinking it. If you're watching, I was drinking a latte, a nice latte. I got an espresso machine for Christmas. I got a Breville Barista Express. That's the word. And it is awesome. It is so much fun. I love the ritual of it, but the coffee tastes unbelievable. Like better than most coffee shops. And I make it at home. It's just like, it's glorious. I've wanted one for so long. So that's been sparking joy for me. It's just, I make like 2 lattes a day and I'm basically just shaking all the time and it's great. And I get headaches if I don't have it. So, you know, caffeine addiction. But that's what's sparking joy, as well as Traders. I won't get into it today because we don't have a whole lot of time. But Traders is fucking excellent so far. It is so good.
I am watching this season. I'm behind one. I'm behind one episode. I haven't watched the most recent one.
Well,
I know. I got to get on it today because I think the new one's tomorrow or Saturday.
It's today.
Oh, the new one's today.
Tonight. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I will catch up.
The most recent episode is one of the best Traders episodes ever. It's so good. I won't spoil it, but it's phenomenal.
We evacuated to Vegas and stayed with our friend Sav and Riley. And by the way, Sav's film Chasing Amy, I want to shout it out here, got nominated at the GLAAD Media Awards for Best Documentary. So I'm very, very proud of him. It's a wonderful film. It is streaming right now. I'm trying to remember where, but you can watch it. Great story about just the queer experience, and it starts out about analyzing this movie Chasing Amy that Kevin Smith made, which is found as problematic in the queer community. But Sav is always really connected to it because it meant something to them as a young kid in the Midwest, that didn't really like see media that represented him. And then it really becomes the story of him coming out as trans and
Mm,
becomes a very personal story. And so it's a really, really wonderful movie.
very
Super
cool.
excited for him. But anyway, while we were there, he introduced me to RuPaul for the first time. I'd never watched Drag Race before.
I haven't
So
either.
I watched Drag Race, and then we
Uh-huh.
also watched The Traitors, and I was like, okay, this is good. I get the hype. So anyway,
It is
I'm in. I'm in now.
best. It is the best.
Uh,
It's just so good. It's just so good. I love The Traitors. I
yeah.
could go on and on.
My sparking joy moment is definitely the Oscars nominations that came out this morning.
Mm-hmm.
What a world. Amelia Perez, a movie that is confounding and depressing on so many fronts, got 13 nominations, which is like Return of the King, Gone with the Wind level.
Mm-hmm.
Utterly shocking to me. I guess it's sort of relevant because it's a music podcast and it is a musical, allegedly. I did watch it
Allegedly.
about 2 weeks ago.
Did you?
It was a movie.
And
It was a movie. That's
was a
about all I
movie.
can say. There was the things that make a movie in this movie.
Every
But it
time I
wasn't good.
every time I see something like a little clip from the movie, I truly am astounded as to how it's
Yeah.
watchable in any way.
Yeah. Well,
So
go look up the clips of La Vaginoplastia, which is
that's the one. Mm-hmm.
the most shocking song that has ever been in a motion picture ever. The problem with this movie is that it could have been good, A, but it's not. And B, the guy who made it is a auteur French director named Jacques Audiard, who people love his movies, but he made a movie about a trans woman in Mexico, and he does not speak English or Spanish, the two languages that this movie is in, nor is he trans or queer, I believe, in any way, and just decided to make that he was the one to make this movie. It's really confusing. It's just the whole thing
Yeah.
is confusing. And I understand that the Oscars are like, we want to honor this movie because it's about trans people and it's important right now. Sure.
Which it is.
But the trans people don't like this movie. So
Right.
like awarding it,
It's almost a slap
is-
in the face
yeah, it is. It is.
rather than
That
awarding
being
like
said,
an actual.
Wicked was tied for the second most nominations, so very happy for
Mhm.
Wicked.
Me too.
And A Complete Unknown did very well as well. So the Best Director nomination for that movie, which is pretty surprising. So, musicals having a good moment in the Oscars. The Challengers snub is absolutely, truly one of the most egregious snubs I've ever seen at the Oscars. But otherwise, I was pretty excited with most of the nominees. It was a good year for film, I thought.
Yeah. Sad that Zoe Saldana will probably edge out Ariana. Although I do love Zoe Saldana, and she has been in this industry for so long, like she deserves.
Yes.
But obviously, my pop queen. I just would love for her to get
I
an
know.
Oscar. It'd be very
The
cool.
good news for both Cynthia and Ariana is they do have a second chance.
Another shot.
It would be a bit strange. Like usually the Oscars won't nominate a repeat performance, but like their character arc changes so much in that second part.
It does.
I think there's a real shot that it could happen.
I think we'll see a lot more depth in both of their performances in that movie.
100%.
So,
especially honestly, Glinda's role, I think has like a lot more depth of dramatic acting in the second half.
Agreed.
So, there's a chance.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Well,
right.
that about wraps it up. If you like what you see, please comment, like, subscribe on all of our platforms. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, now on YouTube. Please check us out on YouTube because that is such a great platform for growth, and it'll really help us get the show out there. Please send us any questions you have. We would love to get to them. Probably not in the next episode just because it'll be focused on Grammys recap, but the one after that, we'd love to do a mailbag episode coming up. Please, oh please, send us your stuff. We would absolutely love it.
Yes, absolutely.